On that day, Jesus went out of the house and sat down by the sea. Such large crowd gathered around him, and he got into a boat and sat down. And the whole crowd stood along the shore. And he spoke to them at length in parables, saying, A sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seed fell on the path, and birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky ground, where it had little soil. It sprang up at once because the soil was not deep. And when the sun rose, it was scorched, and it withdrew for lack of roots. Some seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked. But some seed fell in rich soil and produced fruit, 100 or 60 or 30-fold. Whoever has ears ought to hear the gospel of the Lord. I think that we all have ears to be able to understand what the Lord wanted to tell us with this parable. Also to be able to make an examination of conscience. Are we bearing fruit? It is true that there are those who keep 100-fold. The saints, they keep 100-fold. Others will be in heaven, perhaps, after or somewhat long in purgatory, but they have borne fruit, 60. And others have borne little fruit, but they have borne fruit, 30. The ones who have not bear fruit is what is wrong. Who is the one who does not bear fruit? Perhaps it is not the one who cannot bear fruit. Seeds were not to blame. If they had fallen among brambles, or by the roadside, or among stones, seeds were not the blame. There are people who do not bear fruit, and we cannot judge, because we do not know their story, which are the blamers that have prevented from their growing since they were children. In what family were they born and raised? What were their parents like? God does know. And that is why we must leave the judgment to God. However, other seeds fall in good soil, and for sure, with much better soil than others. Soil where there are more nutrients, where there is more water, but even soil where there are more nutrients. But even so, it is all good soil, and maybe that influences the one that gets 30 or the one that gives 100. Let us leave it to the Lord to judge. What interests us is to know if we are given the fruit that we can give, not the fruit that our neighbor is given for good or bad, but the fruit that we can give. I have recently finished writing the 10th book of catechisms for the Franciscans of Mary. We have already 10 courses with 52 topics of each course. This 10th book is about the Catholic letters, to the letter to the Hebrews, Acts, and the Revelation. Well, meditating on the Revelation, the first page of the book of Revelation, before entering to the book in the great symbols, I saw and I read the message of St. John to the 7 churches of Asia, and I was very impressed by the message to the church of the Odysseus. You are neither cold nor hot, he says. You are neither cold or hot, and I vomit the lukewarm. This is a message that we must always keep in mind. You are neither cold or hot, you are lukewarm. It is not that you have not had a good family, a good education, you have not found good priests to guide you. Well, all these are circumstances that God surely takes into account, and there are extenuating factors for the lack of fruits. God shall know. But it's not about that. You have had a good family. You have had many opportunities. You have known good priests. You even have a moderately dignified life. Maybe you are not the richest in the universe, but you live with a certain comfort. At least you live well. What fruits are you bearing? We all have to do an examination of conscience on this. Today, I invite everyone to read those first chapters of the book of Revelation, the message to the 7 churches of Asia, and especially the one from the church of the Odyssey. You are not lukewarm. You are neither cold or hot. And I vomit the lukewarm. What fruits am I bearing in all aspects? Am I bearing the fruit of charity that I can bear? Not what I cannot, but what I can. Am I praying what I can pray? You are not a monk or a cloister nun. No one asks you to spend many hours a day before the tabernacle. But are you praying what you can pray? What you should pray? Charity, prayer, patience, humbleness, all the virtues. Or rather, I'm not evil, I'm not bad, but I'm not good. And I do not want to be good. I'm stuck in the mediocrity from which I don't want to get out. I vomit the lukewarm ones. If we give 30 of fruit because we cannot give more, the Lord will consider it. But if we can give 30 or 20 or 10 or nothing, when we can give more, the Lord will also take it into account. And let us not forget, there is a judgment, the judgment of God's love, but there is a judgment. Amen.